between 2015 and 2016, while his twin, Mark Kelly, stayed on Earth. Scientists say despite there being several changes in Scott's health, which weren't seen in his brother, many of these subsided over time. That's it for now. More at 10.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to Des Kelly Interiors, the wood floor experts. Supplying and fitting your new wood floor.
Dry in most parts this evening with a mix of cloud and sunny spells, but a few light showers will develop in the west. Top temperatures ranging 8 to 11 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the new and improved Boyle Sports Bet Builder. Now with 44 markets to choose from on every match.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
So it's quarter-final night in the Europa League and it's all going very well for Arsenal so far. They had a tough draw against Napoli, but they're 2-0 up. Second half just getting underway at the Emirates. Goals from Aaron Ramsey, and it's been put down as an own goal for Kalidou Koulibaly. It was a shot from inside the area from Lucas Torreira that took a wicked deflection. But Arsenal 2-0 up inside 25 minutes, and with the second half just underway, that's how it remains at the Emirates. Chelsea, who probably thought they had the most favourable draw in the quarterfinals, still scoreless in their game away against Slavia Prague. Benfica lead Eintracht Frankfurt by 2-1. João Felix with both the goals for Benfica in Portugal. And in the all-Spanish quarterfinal, it's 1-1 between Villarreal and Valencia. Goncalo Guedes gave Valencia the lead on 6 minutes. Santi Cazorla equalising after 36 minutes. So that's the quarterfinals of the Europa League. At the Masters, Tiger Woods still tied for the lead. He's playing the 17th. He's in a bit of trouble after a wayward drive on 17, so he's got to get up and down to save par there. He's on 3 under par alongside Gary Woodland, John Ram, Patton Kizzire. They're all on the course. And in the clubhouse on 3 under, you have Justin Harding and Adam Scott. Rory McIlroy's showing a late resurgence in his round. He had dropped to 2 over par after 12, but he's birdied 3 of his last 4 and he is now on 1 under playing the 17th. So McIlroy only 2 shots off the lead. Among those, only a shot off the lead on 2 under par, you have Ricky Fowler, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau. Then among the group on 1 under, the likes of Tommy Fleetwood, Louis Westhuizen, as I said, Rory McIlroy, Bernard Langer, Ian Poulter, Matt Kuchar, Francesco Molinari, Jason Day, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, all those players within 2 shots of the lead on day 1 of the Masters. An incredibly crowded leaderboard there. So on the football show over the next while, Dan McDonnell will join us a little later to recap on yesterday at the Oireachtas committee and any of the new developments today. There was a very strong statement from the PFAI. We're going to chat to Rob Daly as well about the Bundesliga and the row this afternoon between Kingsley Coman and Robert Lewandowski. That after Bayern beat Dortmund 5-0 last weekend. But tomorrow night's going to be a big night in Dublin because there's a huge event taking place for the Sean Cox Foundation. They've raised a remarkable amount of money over the last year or so to help Sean in his rehabilitation after that horrible attack outside Anfield. Tomorrow's one of the biggest events though. Over 30,000 tickets sold already for the game between Liverpool legends and the Republic of Ireland legends. You can still get your tickets as well. Just go to ticketmaster.ie/LFC. But a host of Liverpool legends are in town. I was down at the team hotel earlier today. Kenny Dalglish was just sitting in the corner. Phil Babb was there and Ian Rush was there as well. And I caught up with him. Here's how it went. Well, proper Liverpool legend. Ian Rush is one of the many Liverpool legends who are in town for tomorrow night's big game. So many great Irish players, so many great former Liverpool players, all for such an incredible cause. It seems as though it's setting up for a pretty special night.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. Any Legends game that you play in is always great. But we've got legends from Liverpool and Republic of Ireland, and it's going to be fantastic. But as you say, it's for one great cause, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. So hopefully everyone can get along there, and support Sean as well. You've met Sean's wife Martina, you've met the family, so you've got a good sense of what they're going through and the battle that they're facing. Yeah, I think sometimes that goes unnoticed. Every time I've met her, she's very positive. She's so strong and everything and all that. But it must be difficult for her because she's there morning, noon, and night by your side and all that. And
it's weirdly the people don't talk about, that there is a minute by minute, hour by hour part of this that they have to somehow get through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if I'm sure if she wasn't like that, Sean wouldn't be in the position he is today, because she's giving him the strength, saying, listen, you can do it. And yes, Sean's got to do it himself, but he needs that support. Now, we're here to support as playing the game, and as a player, that's the easy thing for us. The hardest thing is family and everyone in the Sean Cox Foundation. Everyone, they're the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. But it's great when you see the hard work behind the scenes. To see that what I seen this morning of Sean, what he posted up for today, that was absolutely amazing, and that's going to give all the players a massive lift and all that. It just goes to show with all the hard work, where good things can happen.
Maybe we shouldn't be surprised, but it is a pretty remarkable thing what football supporters, Liverpool, Irish, I think football supporters in general have done over the past year, the way they've come together, the sense it could have been anybody as to what happened, Sean Cox. The level of fundraising has been pretty remarkable. Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing, and like you said there, Liverpool, we do see ourselves as a special club. We see ourselves as one big family club, and if a family member gets hurt, you have to help them. But I'd like to see is if it'd been any other club, any other supporter, any other club, but I hope to say they'll do the same, because I'd like to see the people at the game tomorrow, not just Liverpool supporters. I'd like to see every supporter come and support it, because it could happen at their club and all that, and hopefully that club they would sort of help out as well.
Kenny Dalglish is over to manage the side as well. Are you in his ear? I'm starting, boss.
Not at the moment, because I just had a knee operation, so I had a knee operation a couple of weeks ago. So I'll be managing with Kenny, but I don't know. I'm hoping to see when the physios come in, I can run, but it's turning, and that's the problem. So it's like having a fitness test.
It's like a spot kick, maybe you can run on and take that.
It's like having a fitness test. Really, so I don't know if I'm going to play. I've got to see the physio. But I remember I was at the Legends game a couple of weeks ago when I couldn't play in that, so I managed with Kenny, the team, and all that, and it's nothing worse. And you've been there, you want to get on the pitch, and I was it's great managing with Kenny and all that there, but you want to try and get out on that pitch, and the best thing is playing, and the second best thing is managing. So I did get a bit frustrated actually, because I couldn't get on the pitch and all that, but maybe I'll know tomorrow whether I can do or not. But I think it's and like everything. I've not played at the Aviva. I played at Lansdowne, so at least you can say, I played at the Aviva and all that. But
that means something.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, to me, I want to play because they're all updated now, aren't they? They're all on the pitches are perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what all comes down to. You walk on pitch. I walked at Anfield 2 weeks ago. I was thinking, God, I'd love to play on this pitch. It's like there's carpet and all that, and the Aviva will be fantastic as well. So we'll know a bit more in the morning.
Yeah, Sunday will be a big day at Anfield as well. Possibly Liverpool's biggest game since 5 years ago in that match against Chelsea, and Steven Gerrard's slip and all that. How do you compare this team with that team, and maybe even the Rafa Benitez team of 09, the other teams that have contended?
Yeah, teams have got close, but I think this team is maybe a little bit closer. You can add that I don't think Chelsea are as strong as it were when they stopped us winning the league. They've got one massive player, Hazard, who's absolutely unbelievable. He's a massive danger to us and all that. But I just feel there's a sense where I think the players now think they can win the league. I think maybe about a month or so where you're thinking, maybe we can, maybe we can't. But I think now they must be thinking they can win the league. And people say to me, Liverpool going to win the league? And I say, why not? Well, they're top of the league, so why can't they? So I think the game against Southampton was unbelievable for me, because they went from 1-0 down and to win 3-1, and to play Southampton away, it's no easy game at all. Easy game.
And for Mo Salah to get the goal as well, having had that barren run, like as a striker, you'll have had those spells where you're rushing it. Like there was a sense that he'd become a little bit greedy at times, that he was just trying that little bit too hard. Yeah. Was that your sense watching him? And was that the first time you'd really seen that? And what do you do? Like, is there anyone that often wonder in that situation? Like, can a coach help you? Can anyone help you, or is it all in your own head?
It's in your own head, I think. I went through the same, and that's what you do. You got you try too hard, you try to be too precise and everything, where you should be doing things just natural. So for me, I had my advice from Bob Paisley was to get greedy. He said, if you're not going, you get greedy, and I think that's the same with Mo. I think it's to be greedy and all that. And weirdly enough, every time when he scored that goal, just before he scored the goal, I was shouting to pass. I think shouting pass, but it was absolutely, he caught the keeper out, he took it early, caught the keeper out, and I think his reaction after that just goes to show, I'm back now, and that could be the decisive thing to win the league. With Mo coming back on song and everything, hopefully he can make the difference.
If Liverpool do go on and win the league, it'll probably be because of the change at the other end that they'll win it, because of how strong they become defensively, and particularly the addition of Virgil van Dijk. I'm always surprised in the way when I hear your vintage, that great Liverpool players talking about Van Dijk and comparing him with Alan Hansen and comparing him favourably. Would you go along with that?
Yes, 100%. I think he's a fantastic player. He's for me, he's most probably player of the year at Liverpool. And if we win the league, normally you get a striker getting player of the year and all that, but you got a defender, and he's been absolutely amazing. Not just there, but his presence, his organisation. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. His organisation, all that, and I just believe, he's a massive difference and all that. Where I think last year or the year before we were scoring goals but we were letting goals in. This year we're scoring goals but we're not letting goals in, and as you said, that is a major factor that Liverpool are in the position that they're in now.
It seems as though they've got over the questions about the Anfield atmosphere as to whether it was suffocating. Obviously their record at Anfield in the last couple of years is incredible, 2 years since the defeat. What's your sense on that? Can it be too much at times, that there's the odd stray pass in the car, there's such an air of expectancy? Do you think the players that can play a negative factor as much as a positive one?
I think maybe 2 months ago people think that, but now they don't. I think because even when they go a goal behind, as they've proven now, they can come from a goal behind and win. So I think the fans don't get as worried as what they were maybe 2-3 weeks ago, months ago, were, weirdly enough. But I think now these players have got it. If we go a goal behind, these can pull it back. And I think there's the supporters, they're like the 12th man at Anfield anyway. But there's great belief there. Okay, if we go down, we're going to come back and win. And supporters get behind them. Where if you went a goal down maybe 2-3 months ago, people may be sighing then, it's the same again. But now they believe in that, and the players are reacting to that as well, because supporters can only do so much, what they see on the field, and the players are reacting now. They go down, they try that bit harder to keep on, and the supporters realise, they're playing now, and they get behind the team again, and I think that can be a major factor, especially at home. I
was going to say fair play for coming over, but this is sure home from home for you at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, come here quite a lot and all that, so it's Ireland, I'm just like being in Liverpool anyway, because there's a lot of Liverpool people here and a lot of Irish in Liverpool, so it is home from home. Yeah,
enjoy tomorrow night.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that was Ian Rush amongst a host of Liverpool and Republic of Ireland legends who'll be on the pitch at the Aviva Stadium tomorrow evening, including Kevin Kilbane. Dan McDonald has joined me in the studio.
I am here, yeah. I mean, will it go better than Páirc Uí Chaoimh, do you think?
There was a lot of moaning about his back being a bit sore. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he does 10 minutes.
I haven't looked at the full squad list actually in detail.
There's a lot of the younger lads. Keith Andrews is playing.
Oh yeah.
Keith will do the running.
Yeah.
So I think Kev he'd be somewhat ineffective.
I mean, you've decided that already. Yeah.
I just worry for his back. Like he's injured. He's injured all the time.
Yeah, you can shuffle around the park and be effective. I think it'd be very harsh, Nathan.
Okay.
Maybe you're just hurting from recent reviews of your own football.
Well, exactly, from Kilbane. So now is my chance for revenge tomorrow night. So earlier on we asked you who won last year's Masters at Augusta.
Oh God, how could I forget?
Patrick Reed,
oh yeah.
Darren Kenna from Arklow answered that correctly. Congrats, Darren, you've won a free Now TV Sky Sports pass allowing you to stream all 11 Sky Sports channels, including key sporting events like all 4 golf majors this year. It's all thanks to Now TV. Grab a Now TV Sky Sports day, week or month pass for access to the sport you love on the days you want. We'll run you down through the latest scores at the Masters and in the Europa League right after this.
Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the new and improved Boyle Sports Bet Builder. Now with 44 markets to choose from on every match.
Lunchtime Live.
Every Friday on Lunchtime Live, we give you full control for the full 2 hours. No matter where you are or what the topic, it's your show. Get in touch and have your say by emailing lunchtimelive@newstalk.com.
Lunchtime Live.
And unscripted, thanks to VideoDoc.
This and every Friday from midday.
On Newstalk.
Business is changing, which is why at Ford, when we say our commercial vehicles are built for business, we mean it. Our new Transit range is still tough, still powerful and always dependable. But it now has the brains to match its superior brawn, with an even wider range of innovative features, smart technologies and greater efficiency. It's designed to work as hard as you do. And with Ford Innovate driving better value, you can get 3.9% APR, a 5-year warranty and a €2,000 bonus on the new Ford Transit range. Your business deserves the best in the business. Choose Ford Transit, the future of commercial vehicles. Order now at your local participating Ford dealer and register by April 30th. Ford. Go further. Terms and conditions apply. See Ford.ie for details.
Weave your way along the wild Atlantic Way and feel the freedom of just being there. Whether you're captured by the unique beauty of Loop Head, the experience of savouring fresh local food from the Burren, or trying something new. Let go and embrace the wild Atlantic way of life. Plan your holiday now on the Wild Atlantic Way.
Football Index is reinventing football betting. You can buy and sell the world's top players. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. Football Index reinventing football betting.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
And it all comes down to this. The winning parts of the Dubai Duty-Free Irish Open.
Come experience all the excitement of this year's Dubai Duty-Free Irish Open at the spectacular Lahinch Golf Course from the 3rd to the 7th of July. Watch the drama unfold as Larry, Fleetwood and Harrington take to this dramatic and challenging links course. Experience more with a fantastic festival of golf, live music and delicious food and drink. DubaiDutyFreeIrishOpen.com.
Life feels better when you know your loved ones are being looked after. Well, now you can protect your family's future for just €10.10 per month with Leia Life Insurance. Simply answer a few short questions. There's no medical required. And unlike any other insurer, you're covered by Leia Life instantly, which means your family will get a lump sum payment should you pass away. Join us online and you'll get a 10% discount and a further 10% if you're already a Leia Healthcare member. Visit leialife.ie or call us now on 1890 907 100.
Insurance provided by iptiQ Life SA. Leia Healthcare Limited, trading as Leia Life and Leia Healthcare, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Easter time means chocolate eggs, leopard lambs, cute fluffy bunnies and of course the big Easter sale at appliancesdelivered.ie with savings of up to 40% across the entire range, like the Blue Diamond 32-inch television, only $179.95. The Samsung 8kg Eco Bubble washing machine, now just $439.95. And Apple iPhones from only $375. The big Easter sale continues at appliancesdelivered.ie. And the savings keep on coming. Shop the full range at appliancesdelivered.ie.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
On legal advice, I'm precluded from making any further comments at this hearing in relation to the finances of the association or my former role as CEO or the 100,000 payment, either directly or indirectly. I am not in a position to answer any such questions here at this time.
Like, what was the terms of credit in relation to that specific bill? Anybody know?
I can't answer the issue of that creditor and what the terms
But like, that's what we're here for. Like, I mean, literally all the questions are about.
You've been portrayed as the Trump of FUI, like you have the grassroots support behind you, but obviously someone inside Dublin is out feeling he can maybe certain parts of the media.
Lads, how many of you are board members? Why a loan of €100,000 was not included in the monthly financial accounts?
If I'm given time, I'll establish that exactly for you.
Okay. How much time do you need?
You will be most welcome to Kerry. You will get what I would call the mother of all welcomes when you come to Kerry, because your reputation and your respectability will precede you down the road before you land.
I have a bit of a problem with this. People making statements for 3 minutes when those of us actually on the committee have to stop with our questions.
He's a member of the House. He's been sitting here.
It's a statement, though.
I think, look, come here.
And I would have thought that anybody would have been glad to be handed the opportunity to put the record straight. But you haven't taken up that opportunity, Mr. Delaney.
I know what your
Is there a reason why you haven't?
No, I know what your comments, Deputy Muster.
But is there a reason you haven't?
No, I've read my statement, as you know.
It would appear Mr. Delaney like he's here physically. So he's covered himself in that way. But it's Hamlet without the prince because he hasn't answered any of the questions that people outside of this room would have wanted to be answered.
Words are very unnecessary.
The fine work of Richie McCormick.
He actually he said yesterday that there wouldn't be a Healy Ray in his montage.
Did you ever think you'd be doing a montage of the Oireachtas committee?
Spoofology from Richie there. Spoofology claiming that there would be no Healy Ray and there was a Healy Ray there, as far as I heard.
There was a little twist in the montage.
Yeah.
Suddenly came out of nowhere.
Here he goes. Let's go for a dramatic key and tune change.
So Dan McDonald has joined us in studio.
I have.
He was late, which lends me to believe there might be developments.
It's
tell us. You've got a Independent tomorrow morning.
You always have to do that. No, look, it's
what's happened today?
It's rumbling along. I mean, I briefly heard about it in news round earlier, and there was a sense that nothing's happened today. I mean, nothing has happened in the sense of I don't know what people expect to happen, but there's I think it would be wrong to say that nothing has happened today either. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that, like, sponsors have been moved to put out statements. We've had a really strong statement from the PFA Ireland, the PFAI there, the Players Union, in the last couple of hours, building on the Hamlet theme there by referring to being something rotten in the state of the FAI. And I think the significant statement about that, it's come from the management committee, it's come from players, it's come from, from Gary Rogers, from Anya O'Gorman, from Brendan Clark, Luke Byrne, Shane Supple, people it's not maybe people involved in the PFI have had rows with the FAI, that's well known.
Sure, yeah, that seemed the most notable part. That was
there's friction there. I think, to be fair, it's well known as enmity, but for players to put their name to it, I think that's probably substantial. And then we've had other comments. As I said, 3 been forced to move, or not forced. They feel like they have to put out something, and the kit sponsors, the New Balance, the Top Line and Jack, and the various entities in Irish football. Everyone needs to react now. This is something that everyone that has a relationship with the FAI is now coming under scrutiny, whatever it may be, whether they play, whether they're an affiliate, whether they're a delegate, whether they're a board member, whether they're a partner. So everyone that has that relationship has to it's almost like those who haven't. Their silence is deafening, and we've spoken about it here before. There have been positive statements from clubs who around the country who remain backers, although we haven't had too many of them since Wednesday. That's not to say their mood has changed, but maybe they haven't just come out yet and done so. But it feels like the next Tuesday is the next date, obviously, with Sport Ireland and Shane Ross. That's the next date in the diary.
Right, so talk us through that then, because as you say, people are wondering what next.
Yeah.
And the FAI walked out of the Oireachtas committee tomorrow, and whether they sail off into the sunset and they progress with their various reports and they implement what they implement, and we all move on with life and we wait and see who the new CEO is going to be to work alongside John Delaney. You mentioned the statements from sponsors. They essentially said, we're keeping an eye on the situation and we're waiting to see what happens with the report.
Yeah.
What's next? Barring, it seems as though this has gone past the stage of staying up late on Saturday night to see what is on the front page of the Sunday Independent or the Sunday Times in terms of revelations, that this now is boiling down to straight facts between Sport Ireland and the FAI and the committees.
Yeah, I suppose there's always scope for more information to come out to maybe fill any gaps that might be there. But at the same time, what I feel now anyway is that the level to which this has gone, that there's no way that the current status quo will remain. Everyone involved will remain. I mean, I think that has sort of been acknowledged anyway by some of the reviews and so on. But I mean, in the sense that I'm not even sure if we'll get to next Tuesday with everyone involved still in place in their position, or without having maybe made public comments with regard to their position. And when I say that, I mean from the FAI perspective. Now, I'm not
from the various board
I'm not saying what that statement will be about their position, but will they get to next Tuesday? And a scenario where Sport Ireland and Shane Ross are in the room and there's no update, there's no further correspondence, there's no further guarantees, there's no further commitments of some kind. I'd be fairly shocked if we got to that stage, to be honest. I think the pace of movement in terms of how people have reacted, I think it demands that. I felt for a couple of weeks that this one isn't going away, and I probably still have that belief. That's without making any confident predictions of maybe a bottom line scenario that maybe some people would want. I just think that the scale of this is such that I personally would be of the opinion that I couldn't see the Sport Ireland funding being restored without significant changes. As much as they can't demand changes, they do hold the power to withhold the funds. I mean, I suppose August is when the next tranche of funding is due. That's a long-term timeline. I mean, in the short term, the FAI have to, I keep coming back to this, the FAI have to appoint a new CEO, which is a big appointment. At the moment, they can't do that. I mean, ultimately, they just couldn't. You know, they can't go through that process when this is going on. I know they've spoken about having various people on the panel, but at the moment they're talking about offering Sport Ireland and the government a place in the panel. You can't have a Sport Ireland representative in the panel when they're not even given funding.
Well, you'd wonder, like how many different reviews are going to have to be finished before they can appoint a CEO? Because there's obviously the Grant Thornton review. They're still at the stage of terms of reference for the Mazars review. There's also this extra governance review, yet another review of the governing structures that Sport Ireland may well have somebody on that, and there could be several external. So what does that change the role of the board to be? What does that change the role of the CEO? Will the CEO now be back on the board? So what is the position of CEO? What's it going to entail when they finally come around to someone?
Yeah, no, very much so. I suppose if they stick with the Jonathan Hall review as their template for that element of senior management, then they wouldn't be on the board, the CEO. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know where they find a panel and all the various constituent parts of a recruitment process from at this stage. And also, you'd have to say at the moment that you might miss out on the best candidates with this uncertainty, because there are certain people I don't think who would go for it at the moment. Why would you? Okay, it's going to be a well-paid job, so people will go for it. I don't think you say no one's going to go for it. That's not true.
Could you find yourself in a situation a month into the job, you're somehow back in front of a Dáil committee having to explain things that went on for the previous decade?
Absolutely. Any CEO that's appointed, if a CEO was appointed in May with no changes, they're starting off to use it. They're 3-0 down from the start. You know, so that's not an attractive scenario, and that's not a healthy position to put a new appointment in, to be fair. You know, that's not. So, I mean, we have reached a point here where I don't think there can be any going back. I don't think that there can be a natural escape. That the reviews, the various, and we have to wait to see what the reviews throw up, of course. But
even in terms of the makeup of the board and what's developed in recent days, in terms of, you look at somebody like the treasurer Eddie Murray and his performance yesterday, but also being kept in the dark on key issues around the FAI over the recent years. Like, on a personal level, there's people on that board who are going to be severely upset with how they have been portrayed publicly.
How could you not be? You know, how could you not be? I mean, that was the striking thing about yesterday for me, and why I thought it ended badly for the FAI, is that board members were put in a position where they had to speak like this. I didn't know. I wasn't aware. And they were in the spotlight. I mean, there were people present who could have answered some of those questions, you would think, or certainly would be in a better position than people who didn't know the answers, who didn't know about the loan to provide those answers.
Legal advice said that they should not answer such
questions. Should not do so. Yeah, and that was, as I said, that's the advice that they received. But that advice probably didn't help other people that were there, and didn't help the position they were put in. And so we were chatting briefly off air about how do you think, you know, the FAI felt about it afterwards. And I mean, I don't know. I can't put myself into their shoes. You know. Ironically, a couple of us went across to the Buswells Hotel to work and to finish our work afterwards. And it felt like every time I walked around the corner, I met someone from the FAI who was walking around on the phone. So, you know, I mean, John Delaney, Donald Conway, and other members of the FAI delegation were there. I mean, it's the Dáil. A lot of people go to Buswells Hotel afterwards. There's nothing unusual about that.
Friendly smile. Good to see you, Dan.
No, I think maybe at one point...
What are the chances?
At one point, yeah. At one point, he might have walked in on the phone, and I'm not sure if he saw a couple of us, but he walked out to continue that whatever discussion he was on, and other people were there. So, I mean, they weren't throwing a party. Do you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a demeanour of, well, you know, that one's out of the way. There was people walking around making various phone calls, aware, I think, that this was going to continue.
the Sport Ireland angle from this then, and the stopping of funding for the FAI, you say August is the next time money is due?
The next tranche of funding.
The FAI were sort of, I thought, keen to point out that, well, listen, we get a lot of money from UEFA. Internally in the FAI, how big an issue is that? Is it more an embarrassment situation that it's got to this, that Sport Ireland have publicly criticised us in the strongest possible terms by stopping funding? Does it have any bearing until August to the running of the FAI not having this funding?
I don't know, because that involves speculating on the FAI's cash flow scenario, and how that plays out. And you can't really do that, I suppose. But we do know that at the end of every year, depending on how the year goes, and I think that's been acknowledged, whether games go well or qualification goes well or whatever it might be, then that will affect the cash flow. There's a volatility there that naturally comes with a sports organisation, and that's a fair point when that point is made. So the margins are fairly tight enough, and the FAI do sort of honour funding that comes from Sport Ireland, maybe add to it, match it, or whatever it might be in certain circumstances. But if they're not having that funding to start with, then there's a couple of million quid, and initially it's a smaller amount, it's half of this year, but a couple of million quid from next year that goes into projects and stuff that they either don't do them or find the money from somewhere else. So there's no positive spin on that for me. I know that UEFA are their main, in terms of being in any way being a going concern, or sort of a red light flashing stage. Yeah, I mean, they do have funds coming in from UEFA, and even coming into 2020, I know they're reselling tickets again with a slightly better pricing structure this time around and stuff, and naming rights and various things. But I mean, at the same time though, front-loading payments for sponsorship deals is grand, but that creates problems down the line. So they'll get through, but it doesn't mean they're healthy. There's a big difference between the two.
Yeah. All right. Lots more to come on this over the next few days. Arsenal still 2 up against Napoli. Scoreless between Slavia Prague and Chelsea. We'll take a quick break.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
Oh, hello, love. I see you've turned our shed into a space station?
It's my research bunker.
Of course.
Where I track every price fluctuation and cross-reference geopolitical events to anticipate promotional offers.
Right, well, if we could just get the lawnmower.
And I'm close, Peter. I'm close to finding the way to save on car insurance.
But I've already done that. I went to 123.ie and saved 10%, no hassle at all.
Oh, I might get out of here then. I think the spiders have made a nest in my hair.
Simple is smarter. Get 10% off new car insurance when you buy online at 123.ie. Acceptance criteria, T's and C's apply. 123 Money Limited trading as 123.ie is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. RSA Insurance Ireland Act provides 123.ie car insurance.
Visit Audi Centre, Bracken Road, Sandyford today to avail of our exclusive offers and test drive your future Audi. The Audi Approved Plus used car sales event is now on. Discover your premium used Audi today with a 12-month warranty and exclusive 3.9% APR, available only at your local authorised Audi dealer. It doesn't have to be new to be everything you've dreamed of. Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement and subject to lending criteria. Deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. Volkswagen Bank GmbH Branch Ireland is authorised by the Federal Financial Supervisory Authority in Germany and regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland for conduct of business rules. Visit audi.ie/used cars.
And it all comes down to this. The winning pot of the Dubai duty-free Irish Open.
Come experience all the excitement of this year's Dubai duty-free Irish Open at the spectacular Lahinch Golf Course from the 3rd to the 7th of July. Watch the drama unfold as Larry, Fleetwood and Harrington take to this dramatic and challenging links course. Experience more with a fantastic festival of golf, live music and delicious food and drink. DubaiDutyFreeIrishOpen.com.
Discover Dyson at Harvey Norman with the brand new Dyson V11 Absolute Vacuum Cleaner with twice the suction of any other cord-free vacuum at the cleaning head. With a new LCD screen, you can see the selected power mode and remaining runtime, making cleaning your home a breeze. It intelligently optimizes power and runtime to deep clean carpets and hard floors. Try it out for yourself with our Dyson experts in store this weekend. Available now at Harvey Norman, in store or online.
This is Ross O'Sullivan from Concern Worldwide. I've returned from Mozambique where Cyclone Idai has destroyed 95% of crops. We need to distribute seeds and replant within 2 weeks or there'll be a major food crisis. Please help Concern provide life-saving assistance. Call 1850 410 510 or visit concern.net to give what you can. Thank you.
At Carphone Warehouse, our 5-day flash sale is now on with exclusive deals on Samsung you won't find anywhere else. Save €150 on the brand new Samsung Galaxy S10, yours for just €99.99 on a €60 a month plan with Vodafone, Ireland's award-winning mobile network, now with more data than ever. But hurry, this offer ends Monday, and only when you switch at Carphone Warehouse, the home of the networks. Any network, any phone, any plan. Only Carphone Warehouse. T's and C's apply. Offer subject to a 24-month contract.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
You're welcome back. So we've been meaning to get to German football for quite a while. The German clubs obviously conspicuous by their absence in the quarter-finals of the Champions League, both knocked out by Premier League opposition, but a huge result in the Bundesliga last weekend. Bayern Munich moving to the top of the Bundesliga with a 5-0 win over Borussia Dortmund. German football commentator Rob Daly is on the line. Evening, Rob.
Evening.
So everything rosy in the garden for Bayern Munich until we hear of today's training session, which ends with Robert Lewandowski and Kingsley Coman smashing the heads off each other.
Yeah, that's what the German tabloids have been saying this afternoon, a clash between Lewandowski and Kingsley Coman in training. It wouldn't be the first time that Lewandowski's been accused of getting involved in a training ground occasion. Something similar reportedly happened with Mats Hummels, I think, at the back end of last season. Regardless at this stage, the extent to which how bad that fight was, it's just an unnecessary distraction for Bayern, because all in all, it's been a fantastic week for them after the 5-0 win over Borussia Dortmund at the weekend. And look, I'm sure they'll get over it. Apparently, Niko Kovac, after the altercation between Coman and Lewandowski, let them continue in the training session. That was what built the German tabloid is reporting. Sometimes these things happen. Maybe just because a journalist catches it in their eye, they think it's a big deal, but you never know.
And the PR drive afterwards is always interesting in that, I guess, in some ways it shows how passionate the players are for the club is quite often how you spin it. But it does seem like it was quite a serious fight. Like, they landed a couple of punches on each other.
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, there's been a bit of discontent linking around Lewandowski anyway, going back to last season, where it was reported he wanted to leave at the back end of the campaign because he wasn't happy with the transfer policy. The club hadn't spent more than £35 million on any player in their history, and he felt they were sort of lagging behind the big boys, in particular in the Premier League. They're doing that now. They are spending 50, 60, 70 million on players for next season. But it does seem like it was a bit of a nasty one, if the reports are true, between Coman and Lewandowski. Coman's a very young player, of course, only 22 years of age. But I'm sure that they'll work through it. Niko Kovac didn't seem to think it was a particularly big deal. I mean, we wonder what's going to happen with Lewandowski anyway at the end of the season. Are Bayern going to try and cash in while he still has his pretty good value? It remains to be seen.
His goal scoring record in German football is unrivaled in recent times, but there's always been sort of question marks around his attitude, it seems. Didi Hamann was quite vocal ahead of the Champions League game against Liverpool in his criticism of Lewandowski, that he wasn't a team player, that he was too selfish, that it was all about him, and he was pretty quickly smacked down, I think, by most of the hierarchy around Bayern Munich. But what's your sense from covering German football of Lewandowski as a personality?
I think Lewandowski is a team player, absolutely. I mean, when the game's going on, I don't see anything other than a selfish, good striker streak in him. And look, he delivers 30, 40 goals a year. Apparently, Mats Hummels, who was with him at Dortmund, of course, wasn't happy with his attitude at the back end of last season. I think Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, part of the hierarchy at Bayern, also said, this kind of behaviour won't be tolerated. We need people who are fully committed to the cause. Ultimately, though, even with him in attack, they've fallen short in the Champions League. And that has been the real level they've been testing themselves at. They won the Champions League last when Lewandowski was playing them in the final in Dortmund colours. So I think he is a team player. Hamann got butchered for that comment on Lewandowski. I thought really unnecessarily. It was just his opinion. But yeah, I think there are mixed opinions about whether he's a team player in Germany for sure.
So this is his 5th season at Bayern Munich. He's consistently scored goals, and he's 30 now. So that decision in the summer as to whether Bayern sell and realise his value, he's been one of these players consistently linked with the biggest clubs in Europe, whether it was Real Madrid, Chelsea, Manchester City. At 30, has his chance gone for a move to one of those teams?
That is a good question. I mean, thinking out loud in the Premier League, who's Man United are buying, wouldn't they? I mean, look at a Champions League. I mean, he still is the top scorer in the Champions League right now, even though Bayern have been eliminated.
Knocked out,
I think there would be clubs in for him. The Premier League money is so silly at the moment. I think, you could see him in a Manchester United shirt. Real Madrid was always the big one. I mean, when you score 4 goals against a team in a Champions League semi-final in one game, you're going to be linked with them to the bitter end. And Lewandowski was linked with Real Madrid. But I don't know if that ship has sailed, whether they'll be turning their attention to Neymar or Mbappe or someone a bit younger than that.
So a bit of a sour end to what on the pitch was a stunning week for Bayern Munich with that 5-0 win over Borussia Dortmund, 4-0 up at half-time, just an absolute blitzkrieg in the first 40 minutes or so. Like, it was sensational football, the likes of which we haven't really seen from Bayern so far this season. And of course, it was Borussia Dortmund's former players who did most of the damage. A couple of goals from Lewandowski, one from Mats Hummels. That sort of result, is everyone a bit shell-shocked by just how good Bayern Munich were?
I think Dortmund... Dortmund got beat at Bayern, I want to say last season maybe, or maybe the season before, like 6-0. I think it was last season, something like 6-0. And that was really embarrassing, for obvious reasons. This feels worse, because it was all about these two teams are like neck and neck in the title race. They're the same calibre now. Dortmund... these vibrant young players, but Bayern still have all that wisdom of Müller and Hummels and Lewandowski and the like, and they just got completely done. I mean, Dortmund did have a chance early in the game, Mahmoud Dahoud hitting the post inside the opening 9 minutes. If he scores that, maybe the game's different. But it was a complete collapse, a complete first-half collapse from Dortmund. They gifted goals to Bayern. Dan Axel Zagadou at centre-back had an absolute nightmare. The poor guy gifted Lewandowski his... a 200th goal in the Bundesliga for Bayern, which he took brilliantly. He scored 2 in the end, Lewandowski. And it was just, you heard the comments from Marco Reus and everyone after. They were shocked. They'd been stunned by what happened at the Allianz.
There's still 6 games to go, so it's not done. They are only a point behind Bayern Munich, and they're back in action at home against Mainz on Saturday. So maybe you win that game, and you put this in the rearview mirror, and they hope that Bayern slip up. But would you have Bayern, even though it is just a single point? Do you think that the mental damage inflicted might be just too much for Dortmund to come back from?
I do wonder. I mean, look, Bayern, neither of these teams are in Europe anymore. Bayern do have a cup semi-final coming up against Werder Bremen, but basically it's matches every 7 days, so they'll be fresh as daisies, these two. But looking at the run-in, I'll just read the fixtures out very quickly. So Dortmund have Mainz, Freiburg, a home game with Schalke, their big rivals who have been awful this season. Bremen, Fortuna Düsseldorf, really good run, but then they're away at Borussia Mönchengladbach on the final day. Really tough match. Bayern have got a relatively calm run in, apart from the fact in their last 2, they go to Leipzig, who we've seen in the Champions League, of course, in recent times, and then they host Frankfurt, who are in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, been fantastic this season. So it's really close. I'd probably just say from a experience, psychological level, Bayern are just going to be absolute animals and just get it done. The problem was for me a little bit of Dortmund. I always said Dortmund would win it if Marco Reus didn't get injured at any point in the season, and he did, and he's so important for them more than any other player, even more than Jadon Sancho has been fantastic this season.
So Jadon Sancho's obviously been strongly linked with a move back to England. A player who left England to go back to Germany is Serge Gnabry, who I'm sure some people remember played a few games for Arsenal. At one stage looked as though he might be able to establish himself in the first team. Never really happened. And then moved back to Germany at Werder Bremen. He's still very, very young, Serge Gnabry. He's only 23. Is there a surprise how well he's done this season at Bayern Munich?
I think some fans were a bit disappointed he didn't come into the team sooner. I think I'm surprised he's so important already for Bayern, because he went back to Germany. He had a year at Werder Bremen. Bayern signed him, loaned him out to Hoffenheim so he could get another year. So he's almost been a Bayern player for 2 years prior to getting a kick. But he has been fantastic. I mean, thinking back to, I think it was the Olympics in 2016. That was Rio, wasn't it? Rio?
Yeah. They won the silver medal.
Brilliant. That's right. And he was fantastic at that tournament. Second top scorer or something like that. And then all I think his agent came out, someone came out and said all 18 Bundesliga teams are trying to sign him. So everyone knew he was a top quality player. It's weird it didn't happen for him in England. He had his injuries, struggled at West Brom, but he was very young. He is undoubtedly a Champions League top level player. I think if I think back to the Liverpool game at Anfield, for me, Serge Gnabry was Bayern's best player by a long way in that 0-0 draw. He was, every time he got the ball, you were like, wow, he's going to do something. He's going to be the guy to do something. So, and they need wingers. You know, Nathan, they need wingers because Ribery and Robben are leaving at the end of the season. So they need Gnabry, they need Coman and Alphonso Davies, who they got from MLS, to really step up ahead of next season.
Where are Ribery and Robben expected to go to?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they've hinted at... I think Robben says he's going to continue playing. I'm not sure about Ribery.
Right.
It's a tough one. I mean, maybe they're still brilliant. I mean, their legs just can't do absolute top level week in, week out football. And they are a bit injury prone. So if you're willing to take a gamble on a 20 game a season guy who might win you 5 matches, you know, they're your guys, Ribery and Robben.
You mentioned Jadon Sancho. What's the latest? So he's very much, it seems, part of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer targets for the summer. If United go in with a bid of 100 million, I guess that's irresistible for Dortmund.
I don't know. I think they'll sit that out, actually, Nathan. I think they would. I think they'd go, look, everyone knows he's brilliant, and he is brilliant. He is like Hazard or Messi when he's running with the ball, and what is so brilliant about him. And it's the difference between, you know, when we all got excited about Aaron Lennon coming through and maybe even Walcott and all these wingers for England that were coming through at 19, 20, and you're thinking, wow, look at them, look at their pace. The end product wasn't there. That final ball, even into their mid-20s, was lacking. Sancho plays it perfectly. I mean, his cutbacks, the weight of the pass, his understanding of the movement of Marco Reus and the players around him is brilliant. I think Dortmund, if I'm Sancho, for starters, I'm staying. Play a full season, play every game for Dortmund, and definitely go to the Euros with England. If you're Dortmund, I think you think, well, he's going to have another brilliant year. We're going to be back in the Champions League, and he'll have a Euros. He'll probably start for England at the Euros. We'll get 150 for him in 12 months.
What sort of treatment does he get from defenders over there? You think of some of the players in the Premier League, some of the tricky wingers, probably Wilfried Zaha, I know is considerably older at this stage, who gets kicked up and down the pitch. Like, are they well protected?
Yeah, I don't think Sancho gets too much of a rough time. He's actually almost too good to kick over. I mean, he's so fast and nimble, and you actually at times don't understand how he's got around someone. A low centre of gravity where he can shift the weight of his body and glide through players. It's really brilliant. So, you know, he hasn't made any noises about that. Zaha does get really, I know Zaha complains about it, I think he does get really bad treatment in the Premier League from defenders, and they know he gets agitated about it. But Sancho sort of springs up, you know, a bit like Eden Hazard does, just bounces back up and gets on with it. So, what a player he's been, one of the players of the season in Germany for sure.
Just before we let you go, you were at the new White Hart Lane during the week for Spurs' win against Manchester City. Firstly, were you as blown away as everybody else by the stadium?
Yeah, it is incredible. I mean, it does feel, it's weird to say, but it does feel a bit like White Hart Lane. Maybe it's just because you walk up the high road. I mean, you know all this, mate. You walk up the high road and you got the smells of like stinking pubs and onions and everything like that. And then you go in and it's just this, it doesn't, because there's all these stalls and beer things and a microbrewery, all this stuff I'm loving, by the way. Can't have it.
You're not working.
Full time, I'm done. And it's just lovely in there. And it doesn't feel, everything's reasonably priced. It's not naff and inside. It's all just really classily done. The concrete of the stadium is made from the old White Hart Lane that they've recycled and used on the concourse. It's just clever stuff like this. And then the noise in there is insane. The noise, I don't know what they've done. I mean, the Spurs fans are obviously up for it at the moment. First 2 games, we were at Palace and we had City Champions League quarterfinal. They're going to make some noise. But they've done something to the shape of that bowl where... I don't know, are you doing a commentary this?
I don't know. I was just looking at the fixtures. I don't think, unless I get there final day of the season, which I'm a bit annoyed about, because you want to get there, it looks spectacular. Yeah,
you can't hear yourself through your headphones, so get the noise cancelling ones going.
Okay,
but it's a real treat. I mean, they have built an absolute spaceship in the middle of Tottenham. I don't know how on earth they did it.
I do always love your little studio for anyone who's watching on our social channels, and with the little organ in the background. It sort of feels like the second you switch off with us that you maybe start some sort of, you've got your own YouTube channel of maybe bad Ed Sheeran covers, like slowed right down to be even more romantic.
No, mate, I'm rubbish at that. I've got a guitar here, which I'm alright, but the keyboard, oh my god, absolutely abysmal.
I think the challenge for the next time you're on, Rob, should be to get your own theme tune. So you could, as you come on, we'll go to you and you can play your own theme tune. So Pat Nevin has his own theme tune, and every time we come to you, you could have invented your own piece of music.
I know,
so something
but you'll
that you
have to
feel
be on
is
the
appropriate.
You'll have to be on the show because it'll be weird if you're not hosting. I just start playing a song about myself.
Well, listen, I think it could work.
I will say Pat's got the best off the ball setup, hasn't he? That sort of fire going in the background and a whiskey.
Yeah, I
love what he's doing.
That's the dream right there for everybody. That's where you're heading, though, Rob. Don't you worry about it. Great stuff as always.
One day. Cheers.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, Rob Daly there, looking back in the Bundesliga. Europa League full times coming in. Chelsea have struck late to win in the Czech Republic. Marcus Alonso scored 4 minutes from time to give them a 1-0 win at Slavia Prague. Arsenal, very impressive in the first half. 2-0 win against Napoli in the first leg of their quarter-final at the Emirates. Aaron Ramsey and a Kalidou Koulibaly own goal after a deflected shot from Lucas Torreira put Arsenal in control of that. Benfica 4-2 up in injury time against Eintracht Frankfurt. A hat-trick for João Felix. I'd say you'll be seeing him at Wolves next season. Somehow he's a George Mendes client.
That's where they all go.
He's a wonder kid, and maybe just exactly what they need. And in the derby in Spain, Valencia beat Villarreal by 3-1. So that's up to date with the live sport. In the golf, by the way, Tiger Woods finished on 2 under par. He is just a shot off the lead. So there is Adam Scott, John Ram, Justin Harding on 3 under. Woods in the clubhouse on 2 under par alongside a whole host of players, including Ricky Fowler, last year's runner-up. You've got Ian Poulter, Matt Kuchar on 2 under par. Dustin Johnson's on 2 under. It's the most packed major leaderboard I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's set up for, there is a potential there for someone to just spring out of that, though. Anyone who shoots a good round tomorrow will suddenly have a couple of stroke lead.
Rory bogeyed 17 and 18, so having put himself back in contention, will finish today 4 shots off the lead, it looks like. Johnny Ward was in earlier today for the news round. Doesn't like Rory because he's not in favour of a 32 county Ireland.
Right, okay.
Do you let somebody's political allegiances...
It's strange because Johnny was delighted that he spent. Now I know Rory's obviously Northern Catholic, but Johnny was in the company of Northern Protestants recently and was delights in talking about their views on stuff. I think he likes them. Does he dislike them because they're not possibly in favour of a 32?
He kept it to himself that time. See, that's it.
Yeah.
He was in their company. He was all
double standards.
Hardly surprising. Sunday, by the way, we've got both the teams in the title race live and off the ball. Dave and Gary Breen are going to be at Selhurst Park for Palace against Manchester City, and then myself and Kev will be at Anfield for Liverpool against Chelsea. That's at 4:30, so an extended kick-off. Looking forward to my 10:30 Ryanair flight home, just as the Masters is hitting the back 9.
You'll miss it. You'll miss it. Then you'll miss it and tell your loved ones like it was a mistake.
Like last time.
It was an error, nothing to do with you, and then you'll probably go and watch the end of the Masters in a place called The Station.
That only worked once before. Last time our flight got cancelled, I joked that, looks like a bit of snow, our flight might get cancelled. And half an hour later, our flight was cancelled and we were stuck there till the next day. And just had to go have a relaxing couple of drinks.
Show me your reservation. Okay.
Congratulations to Jamie Malidi, James Collin and Mary O'Donoghue. You're all in the hat for an expenses paid trip to Ireland, Scotland in Yokohama City at the Rugby World Cup 2019 in Japan. You correctly answered Brian O'Driscoll, Tommy Bowe and Ronan O'Gara as the scorers in Ireland's Grand Slam winning performance against Wales in 2009. We have 96 more green tickets to give away between now and May 9th, when all 100 ticket holders will join us at a special event in Dublin, after which one lucky winner will be jetting their way to the Far East. It's all with thanks to Heineken, worldwide partner to Rugby World Cup 2019 in Japan.
It's a good trip for someone.
OTB AM is back 7:45 tomorrow morning. We're on the radio from 7 tomorrow night. Tom Dunn is up next. Dan, thank you. As always, we're off to watch the Masters. Good luck.
Give him a ball and he out of grass. He'll give you a move for the perfect pass. Give him my bull and he